Okay, I'll go ahead and get us started. Hi everyone, my name is Aina Rockinen and I'm the marketing coordinator at Kendis, if you didn't know. And today we're also joined by Justin Oki, as usual, and he'll be doing the presentation. He's in charge of sales and partnerships at Kendis, and I'll hand it off to him in just a minute. Today we're revealing our short-term roadmap, as you know, for the next about 6 months, our expected releases. So then we'll go through some of the details of each feature for you. And we're also going to have a PDF of the roadmap, an overview with some of the details there available for you to download at the end of today. And yeah, and you can also, there's an email you can access that, and I'll show you that in a minute. But yeah, speaking of sharing with your team, the recording of this session will be available on our website as usual. Here we go. Oh, nope. There we go. Yes, on our website there at the events on the top of our website. If you click on that, next slide, it'll show you our events page. And next slide, please, Justin. Sorry. It'll show you our events page, and then yeah, there we go. And on there, all the recordings of our events are accessible, as well as signups for our next events. And our next one will be on March 1st, and that is going to cover, yes, there we go, PI sprint tracking. So you can register with that QR code now, and then we'll also send the link in the follow-up email for that. And that will be an opportunity to learn about tracking your entire PI and getting reports every sprint, and we'll have some tips and tricks for all of you. So that should be a good one. So you can go ahead and register for that now while we stay on that screen. But yeah, housekeeping, I just have a few more things for you. Housekeeping, at the end of today, there'll be a survey where you can submit topics you would like for us to cover in future clinics, as we usually do. And we do read those, so please enter any suggestions you have in there. Then there'll also be 2 other questions for you to submit some feedback about today's presentation. We want to know what feature was your favorite from today, what you're excited about, and then also if we missed anything. If you are hoping this year we develop anything, and we did mention it today, we would love to hear that feedback. So please think about that throughout and let us know. For questions today, we're actually going to have you hold all your questions till the end. And then at the end, you can use that raise hand feature, and we can unmute you and you can talk. You can also enter questions virtually on your screen, and then I can read them out at the end. But we're just going to go through the presentation and then do questions at the end. Yeah, so I think other than that, the PDF, that's the last thing I wanted to talk about. Yeah, so we'll have this image of our roadmap PDF available for download just through this webinar at the end of today, or if you're watching this recording, you can email media@kendis.io for access to that. So yeah, and that'll be a great PDF to share through your organization and just have handy whenever you need it. So yeah, I think that is all my stuff, kind of short today. So I'm going to hand it off to Justin.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Anna. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, all good.
Great. Okay, thank you. I think there might be a bit of a delay on my slide, so apologies. Please shout at me. I know if there is a delay, if I'm showing something that's not being shown.
Okay.
Okay, so anyway, hello, good afternoon, good morning to all of you around the globe. Some people, I think, good evening. Thank you very much for joining. We just want to use this opportunity because we've got some quite exciting and useful features that we plan to deliver in this first part of this year. And I thought it was important to just share it with everybody. And so you can just see how the sort of direction Kendis is going in. So that's why we wanted to do this. I have to say, it's not an exhausted list of things that we're going to do in the first part of the year, but these are the main things that we'll be focusing on. I know that there are lots of new people who have joined this webinar. If you want to know more, if you want me to elaborate, if you need to see how it's going to be relatable to your organization, then please go onto a website and book a demo from there. We'll happily we'll connect with you there. So this is the PDF. This will be shared, as I know, at media@kendis.io. And this would just be this is, as you can see, it's an overview of what the features are coming up in Kendis. Not all the features again, but this is what we'll be focusing on. But it will be you can see that a lot of this is to do with tracking the PI, because as the existing customers will know, we've got a lot of functionality for PI planning, but these main ones are actually for tracking. So that's where, as you'll know, that Kendis is about PI tracking as well as PI planning. So this is how we would like to help you track your program increments. So the first one I'll start off with is My View. So and this is for all users as well, so all the users will benefit from this. But as the product will get bigger, you'll see that you can create issues or features for people's attention, such as risks, impediments and action points in the Scrum of Scrums, dependencies, and soon objectives as well. So the idea is that you will go to one area and everything that is related to you, you'll have access to. You'll also be able to edit from this area as well. So if you're the responsible person, if you have created anything, if you are a watcher, you'll be able to see it in one view. You'll also be able to have it that if you want to see it as another user, then you can have that view as well. You see at the top there as user, you can switch that to the user that you want. It may be that a Scrum Master, for example, wants to see other users, what they've got on their list. And this is just an example of it, changing the view. So if you've got dependencies, impediments, action points, risks, whatever it is, you'll be able to have that view. Okay. And on to the next one. Next one is board entry view. Now this is just, it's kind of a change. So if I go on to Kendis, for those of you that know Kendis, existing customers, you know that the entry to all of this wonderful functionality we have in Kendis is accessible through each of these boards. Now, each of these boards represent one PI. So we're going to change that view because you might just want to see dependencies, for example, or objectives. But here you'd have to click all the way through to get to those objectives. So what we thought is we'll change the board entry view, and it will be something like this. So when you click onto the entry point, you'll get access to either the program board, to My View, as I've just mentioned. If you want to go straight into the objectives or risks or Scrum of Scrums, then you can, rather than clicking your way through everything. So that's the idea of this one. Solution board will also be changed as well. You will also have, you see on the right-hand side, we'll have it's notifications, but important information. For example, it'll be the countdown to your next PI planning, or all of the things that you put in the program events, such as when you've got your inspect and adapt, when you've got your Scrum Scrums, anything that you have upcoming, because you've got the date, we will show that on here. And of course, if you've got open risks or anything that's gone past its due date, it will also be shown on here. And now for the premium customers who have been using our solution boards, I think you'll be very grateful for this one. So at the moment, if I go back to the board, at the moment, we've got the solution boards. And of course, that is for one increment for multiple release trains. So with the new release, you'll be able to create cards, so you'll be able to create them directly from here. And also it's linked already with your ALM, but you'll be able to create Kendis only cards. And in those Kendis only cards, there's going to be quite a lot of information, because what we realize our shared services tend to use solution board quite a lot, but at the moment they need to create it in their ALM for it to actually appear here. But moving forward, you'll be able to create a card for those shared services, and you will be able to, allocate them accordingly. And also the dependencies. At the moment, the dependencies don't go back to your ALM, so that's been adjusted. And you'll also have the timeline view available in this solution board as well. I think it's well overdue for some customers. So moving on, we've got also sprint reports. Now, sprint reports, it depends, of course, who would be interested in your reports. It would typically, this would be the RTE who is kind of running around trying to provide reports to everybody in the organization. So yeah, it would benefit anybody on that program level, because we will have everything that's happened in that sprint or iteration in one view. And the idea is that, of course, as everywhere in Kendis, if you've got numbers there, you can click on there, you can get the data to hand. But what we're going to also do is we'll write it in layman's terms. So we'll write out actually what happened in the sprint, so that you can download this report, you can send it, share it as a PDF, whatever you need to do for these reports. And when I said layman's terms, you can see this kind of view here in the plan versus delivery. This is what I mean by layman's terms. We'll be able to see at a glance that, okay, more than 4 teams delivered over 80%, but actually 3 teams were below 50%. You can click on those, you'll be able to see the 3 teams and so on. So that's where we're going with this one. There's also another view of the team progress. So if you wanted to sort of go further down, drill down into the teams, then you can do. Of course, we've got a lot of reports in the analytics, in the smart reports, in the report section. So we've got a lot of data there for you to delve in a lot deeper. But we just thought there just needed to be some sort of snapshot of actually what happened in the sprint or iteration. So that's why we're going ahead with this one. Then we have the objectives revamp. This is actually quite an exciting one. So currently the objectives are, we're doing it in line with SAFE. You can do the whole business value planned and actual and get the business value achievement. But what we realize is that a lot of people need do key results. So they attach key results to these objectives, OKRs. So in Kendis, you will be able to put the key results as well. And a bit like the current objectives, you can link features to these key results. And a change as well will be that you can own an objective, and you'll get email notifications about the objectives as well. So that way you can really drill down into how the objectives are progressing. So these would be the key results example. And these will be the linking items. And if I go into it, you'll be able to have conversations as well, by the way. You'll be able to have a target date. You'll be able to have the status, change the status on there. You'll be able to add watchers as well. So the watchers will get email notifications and so on. And also, I really like this one. So as a company, you may have, and SAFE refers to strategic themes, for example. You would have your strategic themes, but of course, they would go to various different departments. So in the upcoming objectives revamp, what we're going to do is you'll be able to create objectives for the departments. So if you have one particular objective, we'll call it a strategic theme, then you can drill that down into the different departments. It doesn't necessarily have to link back to your features, as most of the departments in this example, you'll see that they will not have stories or features in Jira, but you can keep track of all of them in Kendis. And again, you'll have an owner, you'll be able to have the progress, you'll be able to change the statuses and so on. So we also have the timeline view extension. So at the moment, the timeline view is of just the current PI. So what we're going to do then is we're going to extend that across to PIs. We all have those dreaded features that that go across multiple PIs, unfortunately. So you'll be able to see this in this view here. Of course, the ones that we've committed to will be in the left column, for example, or in the current PI, and the ones that we haven't, we'll have the flexibility to move them around to plan accordingly. And with the group by here, the group by, you can group by multiple things. So you could group by teams, you can group by portfolio epics, and I mean portfolio epics rather than the Jira epics. You can group by the higher epics, or you could group by the milestones. So you can effectively have milestones going across multiple PIs. And you'll see that you'll be able to drill down into them. So for this example here, we've got a proper epic, safe epic, and then we've got the feature there. You'll be able to see all of the progress on there, and of course the user stories as well. It's quite a good one. Next, we've got group by safe epic, not Jira epic. This is already available. Well, let me show you actually. It's already available for the boards that are in Azure DevOps. So this is Azure DevOps. There we go, I've got it already lined up. So these would be the parent epics. Underneath the epics will be the features. So, and of course, underneath the features will be the user stories. So we're bringing that to Jira as well. It already exists in Azure DevOps, but we're bringing that to Jira. And on the left, and by the way, I say group by epics. It's not just epics. You'll be able to group by your Jira custom fields as well, or additional fields as it's called in Kendis. So if you've got additional fields that you'd like to group by, then you can. It could be that, I know some organizations use components, for example. You can group by those. You'll be able to group by Jira project, because some teams are in different Jira projects. You'll be able to group by that as well. So we're bringing that all onto Jira this quarter. Okay, then we have, now this is really, I really like this one. This is, so organizational view, Kanban and batches. We'll start off with the batches. These are for people on that program and solution level. So it could be, if just on a lower level, if I start there, you could have multiple products being built on one release train. Those products, for example, will be a batch. So you can create them as batches here in Kendis. So when you've got a batch, you'll be able to group by batch on the program board, group by batch on the timeline view. So you'll be able to see on that, if it's a product, if it's a project, if it's a program, whatever it is, you'll be able to see that batch on all over Kendis, even the reports as well, the dashboards that you can create for those batches as well. Then we're kind of doing, I call it a batch of batches, but it's going to have a better name. But imagine then on the portfolio level, if you've got an overall project that you're kind of trying to keep track of, and all those projects have different products, for example. So you'd like to create all of that, and you'd like to have dashboards on that, and also view the boards by those. So this is the idea here. And if we go into it a bit deeper, you see that Japanese market. the entry point to these will be, if you want, this is all customizable, by the way. So if you would like, it's almost like a epic hypothesis statement, or even a business case, however you want to kind of put it, whatever level that you want to have it as. It will have various different widgets. So for example, it will have the chat widget. If you want to have conversations on it, then you can do. So you can roll all of this up higher and higher and higher, not just the products on your release train. And by the way, if it's across multiple release trains, then you'll have that same information in here as well, because this will be a separate view. This will be on the organizational level. Portfolio level really in the SAFe, for those people who use portfolio level in SAFe, this is where we're helping out. And then we've got the Kanban view. Now, this view here, it relates to one release train. So, you know, if I can just ask you to be creative, think creatively. One thing that we are sort of realizing is, you know, we've got life before and after features is actually quite a lot. It's not just about, you know, planning it for the PI. There's a lot that happens to these features before you get to the PI, and of course after the PI. So with these Kanbans, they'll be flexible enough for you to create your own columns. You can add as many columns as you like. And of course, you can have one column that is integrated with Jira, for example, or Azure DevOps, and you'll get automatically updated. You can also create cards from here that are not linked to your ALM. So if it's things that you need to do, for example, to get support for, I don't know, an organization, if you need to, you know, whatever it is, things that you actually need to do rather than just have stories and features and everything else, then you can put them on this board and you can, you know, drag them around manually in here as well. This is another view of that. So this would be an example of group by epics, where you see that we split the Kanban with the epics, and of course you can plan within that epic. And again, it may be that you've got things to do rather than actual kind of just features and stories. So you can put them all in here as well. And this, I think so this will release it out, and we'll, as we do with everything else, we kind of see how people use it, and then we add accordingly, according to feedback. So that's, yeah, we'll do the same with this as well. But it's as flexible as we can make it. And last but not least, we have objective and risk integration with your ALM. So when you create objectives or risks in Kendis, it will also be created. We'll give you that choice. Some people don't like it; they just are happy with Kendis. But we'll give you that choice to create it as an issue type in your ALM. So if you want to, you know, see how things are progressing, you're on Jira's or your Azure DevOps, then you'll be able to do that. So those are all of the things that we've got planned for the first part of the year. And I'll just go back to this PDF. So here is the snapshot of everything I've just kind of gone through very briefly. If you need to have any more information about it, then of course, please just reach out to me or just book a demo, and we'll happily talk to you about it. But for now, I think that's it.
Awesome. I think we can take questions now, right?
Yeah, please, yeah.
So if you all want to use that raise hand feature, if you have any questions you want to ask live, we have one written. Will the dependencies work for ADO, from Steve?
Will the dependencies work for ADO? Yes, absolutely. They will. At the moment they do work for Azure DevOps and Jira on the program board. but it will also work. I think the question is on that solution board. It will also work for Azure DevOps on that solution board as well. Yes.
Great. Any other questions? If you all want to raise your hands or write something. Oh, here we go. Can one team on the release train use a Kanban board to manage their work while another team on the release train uses iterations?
So on the program board, not in this current moment. They can use the Kanban board, absolutely they can, but it wouldn't automatically go on the Kendis board. This is something that we want to sort of investigate further, mainly because of the shared services, to be honest, on the solution board. So it's likely that we will include it later on, but just in our first iteration of this, the answer is no. But just bear with us on that. We'll make it as flexible so it's on the program level as well.
Okay. Another question, do any of the objectives or impediments sync back to Jira so they can be viewed from the Jira side?
So at the moment, the plan is that the objectives will be integrated into your Jira. It doesn't at the moment. The impediments, no, there's no plan yet to do that. We'll have to sort of investigate that further because we don't really know if it's issues that we want to create in your ALM or if it would just be kind of comments on the features or user stories themselves. So I think we'd need to investigate that a bit further to see.
Okay. Another one, will we be able to see which features are linked to objectives and which aren't, kind of related?
Yes, absolutely. So at the moment on the feature summary, you can see all of that anyway. If I go into one, of course, I'm going to pick one that hasn't got it, but in the feature summary, you've got that information here. You'll also have that information anyway in the, if I go, let me close that. This GoToMeeting thing is in the way. If I go into my objectives, I'll also have that view anyway. So these are the objectives. If I open these objectives, I've got the list of features here that are linked. And you'll see the same, it'll be the same format in the new release as well.
Cool.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, but you can't see which features aren't linked yet, was a comment on that.
Features that are not linked.
Yeah.
No, not yet. Not yet. I have seen that somewhere. I don't know enough to talk about it. I don't know if it was in a suggestion box or if it was something that was being planned, but not yet. You can't see features that are not linked with any objectives.
Okay. Any other questions, anyone?
Why is no one talking? I like talking to people.
I know, no one's raising their hands. No one wants to talk to you, sorry.
Yeah, I get
that. Oh, we got one here. I'm gonna, Trevor, I'm gonna unmute. And then you need to unmute yourself, Trevor, and then you can talk, I think.
Here we go. How about that?
Yes.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi, Trevor.
Hello, hello. Good to hear from you all. I don't have a question. I wanted to also give a shout out to the creating filters and having those be able to be shared across your team. The filter, quick filters, awesome.
Yeah.
It came at the exact moment we needed it. It was amazing.
Oh, fantastic. That's really good to hear. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. The team will be really happy about that because that sort of won over all of the other cool features that we thought we needed. So I'll feed that back. Thank you very much, Trevor. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
No worries.
Awesome. Anyone else want to say anything?
I like that. Only shout outs, only good things.
Yeah, only. You can't tell people to say only good things. Yeah, I think, let's see. No, I'm not seeing any more questions. I did upload the roadmap PDF if you all want to download that. Hopefully you can see it in the handouts section on your screen. I'm not seeing any more questions come in or hands.
And it could be that when, once we start building it, we sort of, when we figure out actually this is the way customers are using it, it could be that there are little tweaks. It could also be that everything I've talked about, mentioned, it will be delivered iteratively rather than all in one go. As we're all agile, we understand that, I'm sure. But yes, that's if you have any other suggestions, any other feedback, any comments, then please let us know.
Yeah, we got one more question. In the OKR view, where we view features or epics?
In the OKR views, what was so this view here, you'll be able to, and when I say epics, I'm talking about proper epics. You can have it that you view epics if you would like to, and that's a way that we can take it to an organizational level. So of course, these organizational level can be epics, can be features, can even be stories.
Okay. We have another raised hand. We also got one comment. Looks really good. The sprint reports I especially look forward to. So that's a good feedback. And we have one hand. Ted, I'm gonna unmute you and then, yeah. Hello.
Oh, hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Loud and clear. Hi, Ted.
Hi, Justin. Hey, just a curiosity, how many changes result from requests from your own team versus your external customers?
I would, oh God, it's hard to put a percentage on that, to be honest, mate. But I would say if I was to put a percentage, I would say probably 60% of new things that we're building are as a result of what customers have requested, and that probably the rest of it is our intention, our intended roadmap. It's different when it's something that we have sent. So, for example, when we do these OKRs, then of course the additional iterations will be based on customer feedback. So, for example, when we do the Scrum, we release the Scrum of Scrums, it was the first of its kind. We don't know how customers are going to use it, but then all of the iterations that followed and that will follow are based on how customers are using it. So then it goes up to 90% or something,
Okay, I see. Yeah, makes sense. It's yeah, you continue to keep adding new good additional functionality that seems to be very useful.
Brilliant, that's good to hear. Thank you very much, Ted. Appreciate it.
It's a good question. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything else roll in. Anyone else have anything to say? Maybe this is the last call.
Last call.
Last call. Closing time. Yeah, maybe that's it. I like that last question though. I feel like we want people to give their feedback. We really appreciate that, and these clinics are helpful. We look at the feedback we get at the end a lot. So yeah, we definitely want to hear people's opinions, but I also think it helps that our team has worked in the field a lot. So the people, I don't know, we just have a lot of experience in making the tool because you're kind of like thinking of how you would like to use it, for example, or whatever. So
that's well put. I know we do have experts as well, and obviously people who are out on the field. So they're not just working in Kendis, they're actually out putting these practices in anger. So that's a good point. I know. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's a good mix that we have. So
okay.
Yeah, I think we're good. Thank you all for coming. Oh, wait, hold on. How can we
Yep.
set progress on key results? We got one last one.
How can we?
How can we set progress on key results?
Yeah, so the progress that you see here, it will either be manually, because if they're not linked with your ALM, then of course that will be put in manually. Or if they're linked with features or stories, then it will be the progress of those stories. So it might be that you've got, you know, this, if you've got 100 stories and 50 of them are shown as done, it might just be on that basis, or it might be story points. On the story points basis. So that will be up to you to be able to configure that, how you would like to show that progress.
Cool. Okay, maybe that's the last one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, from me, thank you very much, everybody, for joining. Please give us your feedback. It's really appreciated. At least we know that it's in the sort of right direction. And of course, if you've got suggestions for the future, something that maybe you're disappointed that we're not doing in the first pass of this year, then please let us know that as well.
Yeah. And download that PDF handout if you would like.
Awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you all.
Very much, Anna. All right, guys, take care.